What's going on, everyone? Today I'd like to explain what's happening with all these plumbing leaks that a lot of RVers are having. I want to show you how to find these problems before you get a leak, how to fix them, and I also want to show you a couple useful plumbing modifications that anyone can do. So 1/2-inch PEX is what most of us have for our supply lines. It's very rigid, usually solid red and blue for hot and cold respectively. Now there are different types of PEX and different types of fittings and clamps, but in an RV, PEX B and cinch clamps are overwhelmingly the most common. When connecting the 1/2-inch PEX hose, we use 1/2-inch PEX fittings. These come in quite a few orientations and materials, but the part that goes inside the hose will look like this. We also use a cinch clamp rated for 1/2-inch PEX hose, and this is important. You want to use 17.5 millimeter clamps. You should see 17.5 stamped on the outside of the clamp. RV manufacturers also use a flexible reinforced hose. It's very easy to distinguish the difference. You should be able to see the reinforced polyester braiding through the hose. Unlike PEX, it's easy to squeeze and much more flexible. This is also blue and red, but sometimes you'll see this in clear or white. In some applications, it's actually a little easier to use. The pressure rating is still much higher than what you'll put through the water pressure regulator. In my experience, there's nothing wrong with either of these hoses. The problem is 1/2-inch PEX hose and 1/2-inch reinforced flexible hose are not the same size, and RV manufacturers are using PEX fittings and clamps on flexible hose. The inner and outer diameters of flexible hose are slightly larger than PEX, despite being both 1/2-inch. And that's one of the reasons it's not uncommon to find leaks on flexible hose connections. So let's take a look at some examples. This is a 1/2-inch PEX fitting in 1/2-inch PEX hose. The fitting goes all the way into the hose until you reach the middle or the shoulder of the fitting. The fitting is snug enough to where it won't fall out of the hose even before it's clamped. This is the correct 17.5 millimeter cinch clamp. It fits over the hose with plenty of room to move and position before clamping. This should be between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch from the shoulder when it's clamped. Now, if you use a PEX fitting on flexible hose, you can see the fitting is not as snug and will fall out. Additionally, this is a PEX cinch clamp on flexible hose. It's just too small. It takes some work to get this over the hose. So knowing that flex is larger than PEX, we just need to use larger fittings and clamps on flexible hose. The fitting you want to use is called a barb fitting. It looks like this, and when compared to a PEX fitting, you can see it's slightly larger, longer, and has a different profile. I don't even have to put this all the way into the hose to show you how snug it is. A barb fitting is the correct fitting for a reinforced flex hose. Since we got the right fitting, we now need a larger cinch clamp. The 17.5 is too small, so you'll instead use an 18.5 millimeter clamp. And this number should also be stamped on the clamp. There's a lot of companies making these. I use Oetker because they're a reputable manufacturer and very easy to source. And because barb fittings are usually longer than PEX fittings, you can even put a second cinch clamp on this hose if you want. There is another clamp you may see on flex hose, but I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. And by the way, for your convenience, I'm going to put links to all these fittings and clamps down in the video description. So in summary, when using PEX, you want a PEX rated fitting and a 17.5 millimeter cinch clamp. When using reinforced flex hose, you want a barb fitting and an 18.5 millimeter cinch clamp. And yes, you can get adapters that allow you to connect PEX to flex. Okay, let's move over to a couple modifications so you can see all of this stuff in a real-world application. The first mod today involves the toilet because there's a couple different situations where you may want to or have to shut off the water. The big one, of course, if you need to remove the toilet due to a flange seal or pedal leak, you'll have to shut off the water to remove the line and move the toilet aside. If you want to add some silicone grease to the valve seal, it's a little easier to see what you're doing without water running everywhere. We're going to add a stop valve to the supply line on the toilet so we can shut water off here and your family has running water throughout the rest of the RV. The supply line on this toilet is flexible hose, so we're going to use a valve with barb fittings and 18.5 millimeter clamps. If you're on city water, turn the water supply off. If you're using the fresh water tank, turn off your water pump. And then you're going to want to depressurize the lines by either opening your low point drains, a faucet, or flushing the toilet. Now, I don't know if this hose is going to fall down through the floor when I cut it, so I'm just going to add some duct tape, then mark where this hose will butt up against the fitting shoulders and cut a section out. Put your cinch clamps on the hose first, install the valve, Position and crimp the fittings. Turn the water back on and check for leaks. I'll eventually get around to all the other water sources, but we are finished with the toilet. I refuse to charge a membership fee on this channel. All of our videos are free for everyone to watch. But without our sponsors, there are no videos, so I hope you'll stick around for a short message from today's video sponsor, RVmattress.com. They have a nice selection of mattresses for all budgets, and they have the oddball sizes you won't find in a residential mattress store. You'll find the RV Bunk, 3 different king sizes, and the Short Queen, among others. They also have a full line of pillows and bedding accessories. Their website will recommend a mattress based on how you sleep. Shipping is free, and they come with a limited lifetime warranty. You have 120 nights to try out your mattress, and we slept so well in the RV that we also got mattresses for our house and our family members. Use our link and discount code down below and get 30% off your mattress. Let's finish up the second plumbing upgrade next, and then I want to show you guys a couple things I'm just not seeing a whole lot of discussion on. Even though we're running a BlueTech 3-stage water filter, I still wanted to add a UVC light purifier, at least for drinking water in the RV. Because a UVC is a light, it needs power. The 3-stage filter would need to be plugged in outside, another power cord to plug in and trip over or worry about when it's raining. Just personal preference, it's something I did not want to deal with on every trip. The dedicated drinking water faucet is nice, I just wasn't keen on drilling through my countertop. So I chose the dedicated UVC option. A little more work up front, but seems to be the best option for us. I'm going to install this UVC so it only services the cold water on the kitchen faucet, since that's the only faucet we'll use to get drinking water. BlueTech also provides some fittings and hoses with the UVC, and after looking this over, here's my plan. Water comes into the sink from here, runs into this pipe T and up to the cold faucet on the kitchen sink. I'm just going to cut this hose and remove the PEX from the stainless hose going to the sink. Since I'm using PEX, I'm using a PEX 90 and 17.5 millimeter clamp. This gets connected to the line that previously went to the sink and now redirects the water over to the input side of the UVC using a brass PEX fitting that 90s into a female NPT. We're using one of the BlueTech supplied braided hoses from the UVC output to the factory braided hose that connects back up to the kitchen sink cold faucet. For power, the UVC comes with a 120 volt plug, but this plug is actually a 120 to 12 volt converter. So we can simply cut the plug off and connect the UVC to a 12 volt source and still be able to use it if we're boondocking or lose shore power. I secured the wire to the floor using cable clamps and connected it using heat shrink crimp connectors to the 12 volt accent light wiring under this door. This light is activated by a switch, so we can extend the life of the UVC by just turning it on when we want drinking water. Everything's out of the way so I can still keep the garbage can under here. And here's an unrelated hack I haven't shown you guys yet. I just put some magnets on the bottom of the garbage can and the floor, which keeps the garbage upright and in place while traveling. Okay, here's where things get interesting. Earlier I mentioned there is another clamp you may see on Flex Hose. It's a plastic clamp and it's much wider than a stainless steel cinch clamp. In fact, you may also see this clamp on PEX Hose. These are made by a company called Flarit. You can buy just the clamps alone, but if you buy as a full fitting kit, the fitting is always the same profile as a PEX fitting. On the company page, they state it will work on both PEX hose and flexible hose. These clamps go on with pliers and can be removed with a flathead screwdriver. They say they are reusable, but they don't mention the amount of cycles. We're starting to see these Flarit fittings more often now because Flarit fittings come in both hose-to-hose adapters and hose-to-NPT adapters, and also because Flarit claims these will work on both PEX and Flex. I would imagine RV manufacturers are using these because they're just more streamlined and there's less inventory to deal with. Of course, that's just speculation. Now, I've never had a Flarit leak on PEX or Flex, but I wanted to reach out to a few of my friends who are working RV techs to get their opinions. About half of them are finding leaks with the Flarit fittings on Flex hose, less on PEX, but will always replace a leaking flare fitting with a metal fitting and a stainless steel cinch clamp. I would do the same if and when I had a leak on a Flarit fitting. The other half love these flare fittings. They aren't finding nearly as many leaks on the Flex hose as they are with the factory installed 17.5 millimeter clamps. And some are even making repairs with Flarit fittings. So while this looks like a great solution because it will work on both hoses and there's a huge variety of NPT fittings available, I'm definitely still seeing some mixed opinions with this style of clamp. Okay, two things you want to avoid with plumbing. You never want to reuse previously clamped hose. When you remove bare wire from a lug or terminal, you always cut the wire back and start with fresh wire. Same thing here. The old clamp permanently compresses the PEX. Even after you remove the clamp, that section may remain slightly deformed or have stress marks. The exception here is if you won't have enough hose after you make the cut, but it's a good practice to follow, so try to mock everything up before you make any cuts. Also, hose clamps. I avoid these like the plague. They just don't really provide enough clamping pressure. These worm screw-driven clamps don't provide even clamping pressure around the hose either. No bueno on pressurized lines, especially in an RV that rocks and rolls every time you change campsites. It's not a bad idea to take a look around your RV. Write down what hardware you have and stock up some tools and replacements if you need to fix a leak on the road. Links to all this stuff are down below. Please consider subscribing if the video helped you, and we'll see you in the next one.